What's going on? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today, I'm Bancroft joining you once again to go over another deck profile. Not just any deck profile, but I'm finally tackling Piccolo Supreme Power. Like always, just buttons down below. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. But let's get into today's profile. Piccolo's an interesting one. Many people at our shops attempted to play this deck and immediately was like, "No, I'm good." And a lot of that breaks down to the way this deck interacts. You got to play a 1-drop in order to play a bigger card. And if the 1-drop gets popped, then you just pretty much waste that energy and don't have access to going into the big chain unless you want to pay for it. So it gets very interesting the way you play it. I'm going to go over my build. This is after when I played it 2 weekends ago. And this is the kind of the build I played. There's some slight changes there. But after the profile, I'm going to kind of go over the Unisons that I would change out. And the reason I say that is I do play Dende in this deck, at least in this particular profile. But like I said, most likely Dende is coming out for 4 other cards, and I'll kind of go over those cards in a second. But first, the profile. Alright, so Piccolo, place 1 decking card from your hand under this card. When this card attacks, you draw 1 card, and you look up the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 green or yellow decking card among them to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. That's really good. I love this early on attack. Just being able to kind of draw 1 and then search the top 5 for a card you actually need is just really good. And what's great about this one is this can also search the secret rare. I do play the Piccolo Gohan, but to be able to search it turn 1 is amazing. Awaken when you have 4 or less, or there are 2 or more cards underneath this card. You choose one of your energies, switch active mode, draw cards from your life. So you draw 1, switch 1 energy active mode. You draw cards down to 5, then you flip this card over. Once you flip over, you now have a permanent. When you activate battle cards Union Absorb, you can actually take the cards underneath your leader instead, which is pretty cool. That way you kind of keep your hand where you need to, that way you're not sacrificing your hand or potentially sacrificing pieces on your board that you want to keep. Auto, place 1 decking card from your hand under this card. When this card attacks, you draw 2. I don't mind that because it definitely benefits the activate battle of this card or the permanent. But sometimes I got into when I played this 2 weeks ago, I got into a spot where I didn't have any necking to my hand. Now I did mischarge and I charged from necking when I should have just used it as part of my leader attack, but it happens. So you just gotta be careful when doing this leader's backside swing and make sure you have cards to put underneath it. Activate battle. Once returned, place 1 card underneath this card to its owner's drop area. This card gains 5,000 power for battle, which is great because, like I said earlier, you're putting a card underneath it to potentially get an extra 5,000 K combo when you need it later on the road. So it's not bad. All right, let's go over Dende. And like I said, I don't mind this Unison. My problem is that there are a lot of good Unisons that we see get made all the time for archetypes. For example, the Unison for Gamma was great. It's a 15k. On swing of your turn or your opponent's turn, it gains a marker just right away. This Unison is very fragile. Kind of reminds me of the Bulma Unison back in the launch archetype. So it does have Rejuvenate, which is not bad, but you remove 5 markers from this card instead of 4. Then the auto was returned. When one of your necking cards activates Union Absorb, you place a top card of your deck under this card. Then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode. Unless I'm missing something, it doesn't say up to. It just says when one of your necking cards activates Union Absorb, place the top card of your deck under this card. You have to kind of do that, at least based on me reading the card, unless I missed something and something was rolled differently. So if you've seen something rolled differently, let me know. But the ability to tap one of your opponent's battle cards isn't bad, but you are potentially losing a key card from your deck that you may need it later on the road. Now, +1 activate main is really good. It's what makes this Unison great. It is activate main for +1. You play up to 1 yellow Piccolo card with energy cost of 1 from your hand. So pretty much turn 1, you play this, immediately +1. Now you have a Unison with 2 markers, you have a battle card on board, you pass turn and hope that you get to keep something. What makes this Unison so fragile is that it's a 1,000k Unison. It gets most archetypes, or most decks, they're going to swing at it twice and it's dead. You establish it turn 1, it does eat 2 attacks, which is not a bad thing, I don't mind that. But after I get that turn 1 Unison play, I don't want to play this Unison ever again for the rest of the game, and just got to hope that I could continue pushing on with what I've already established at this point on. So like I said, in my opinion, this is going to come out, and I'll kind of go over that in the profile. So getting to the actual deck itself, we play 4 of the 1-drop Piccolos, and we play 4 of the 1-drop Piccolos. The difference between these two is that this one, when played, look top 5 cards of your deck, add to 1 yellow Menekian card among them to your hand, which is really nice. Once again, this is a card that can search for your secret rare because it doesn't specify energy cost. The Fusion's Resolve is just when play, you draw 1 card. Ready to Fuse has a Unison once returned for 1 energy. Either you place a Menekian card from your hand or battle area, or like say if your leader's awakened, use your leader's auto, so your leader's permanent instead. But you get to play a yellow Piccolo energy cost 3 from your deck or hand on top of this card, and you shuffle your deck afterwards, which is really great. It just allows you to search for the cards you need from your deck if you don't have them in your hand. And I like doing it anyways because it thins the deck out, and you're not wasting resources in your hand that you can use for the leader's swing or even comboing off. And the Fusion's Resolve, it's pay 2 instead of 1, but you get to play a 4-drop, so you do need 3 or more energy first, but you get to choose a Menekian card from your hand or battle area, place it on this card, and then you play up to 1 green Piccolo energy cost of 4 from your deck or hand and place on top of this card. And if you look through your deck, you gotta shuffle it. So it helps us bring out certain late game control elements as well. So let's kind of go into those cards. So for Ready to Fuse, our obvious target is the one, the only, with Nail's Might. Now I did play the other 3-drop as well, which I think is a green-yellow 3-drop. I ended up just taking that one out and playing 4 of these guys. These guys are so good. Normally, if you have a Piccolo on board, it's just 2 yellow energy just to play this one. But auto, when this card is played or attacks, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. In rest mode, you KO it, so it is a removal card for yellow, which makes this card super strong in my opinion. Yellow doesn't really have a lot of ways of popping cards, so if your opponent has a deck that typically goes wide, just playing this card and immediately attacking with this card deals just takes care of 2 of your opponent's battle cards. Doesn't get past barrier, but hey, that's fine. Auto, if your opponent's turn, when this card is used in a combo from your hand, choose up to 1 Menekian card in your battle area and switch to active mode. So if your opponent's swinging, you can combo this off and potentially restand a card. That way you're not losing that card for your following turn, because a lot of times people will just continue swinging into cards that are problematic. Alright, now going to Fusion's Resolve. I actually have 2 targets for this one. We'll go over the first one, which is from the set. It is Piccolo Fuse with Kami. So energy exhaust, critical, and double strike. Or you pay 3 to evolve on top of, but permanent. If this card has 1 or more cards underneath it and will be removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, you may place all of the cards under this card and put them under its drop area instead. Kind of keeps it alive in a certain matchup. If it's against red, it may get negged out, but it's a 24,000 power, so most cases it should be safe to play. Other types, it can just get bounced back to your hand or even KO on board, but that's why that permanent's there. So if someone charismatic you or something like that, it's still alive because you choose the permanent, put the cards underneath it back into your drop area, and now it's still on board. Auto, when this card is played, you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier and KO. That's why I play 3 of these. If my opponent has some key cards with barrier and rest mode, it'll just pop those cards for me. The other option is Assimilate Ability. It's an old card, it's really good. It has barrier, so some things won't touch it, which is great. Activate Battle, Bond 2, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 5 or less, KO it, and then you draw 1 card. I mean, that's just really good. Depending on the matchups, either one of these could be a great one to play off the 1-drop. So, just know what you're playing against and know what's best in the right moment. Alright, so that goes for all the Piccolos. I do have some other Menekians, obviously. I've seen this going around as well. But it is the Slug Package. So play the 1-drop, which on play draws you a card. Then activate main for 1 yellow energy. You choose up to 1 Slug's army card with an energy cost of 3 or less in your hand, and then you place it. So you place this card, you play it, and you place this card in its drop area, which is really cool. We played this one right here, really cool guy. If you haven't seen him, it pretty much tells your opponent they can't draw cards as long as you have Bond 2 activated. So when this card's in rest mode, your opponents can't add cards from their deck to their hand using non-leader card skills. Fantastic. Activate main if you lead a card's yellow Slug army, which is not. So we're not even worried about the activate main part. This permanent's just really strong. So these 1-drops are kind of key to this deck, and because this is a Menekian deck, it is quite obvious that I play 4 of this next card, and that, if you haven't guessed it yet, is Assimilate. It is a fantastic card that searches the deck for a green or yellow Menekian card with energy cost 2 or less from your deck and out your hand. I may be wrong, but I think Guru is a 3 cost. That's why I don't play that super combo. It's not a bad one because it plays when your energy costs, sorry, when your life is 5 or less, so it immediately activates as soon as you awaken by your own condition. But Assembly is really good also for thinning the deck out. And it's a yellow extra card, and we'll go over that later. Another yellow extra card. I decided to play 2 of these because it's like a double strike Champa. So activate battle for 1 yellow energy. If it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your Mnekian cards. For each Mnekian card under it, it gets plus 5,000 power, up to a maximum of 15,000, and double strike for the battle, which is really good because that also works on your leader. Because it doesn't specify where, it just says 1 of your Mnekian cards. So if you're awakened, you have 2 or even 3 cards underneath your leader. This one swing immediately becomes a 30,000 double strike. And on cards like, Piccolo, Nell's Might, most times it'll only have like 1 card underneath, 2 cards underneath it, so it's still a 30k double strike. Or even if I'm swinging with the double strike crit fuse with Kami, that's a 34,000 double strike crit. So just having 2 of these is really nice. It's like having a Champa in the deck without having to have a Champa in the deck. It does have an activate battle if it's your opponent's turn. Choose 1 of your Mnekian battle cards, switch to active mode, and it gains 1,000 power for the battle. So if they swing and like, say against the 3-drop here, and they combo to 20,000, I can just activate battle for free, restand it so they can't swing at it again, and now it's at 21,000 for the battle, so it gets out of that combo. Cheap. Oh no, where'd the other one go? I just had it here. There it is. These are really great early game. Not early game, sorry. Assembly is really great early game. This is really great pressure, but they're initially free. Yellow extra cards, which go to my next card, which is kind of the flood control. Mecha Frieza. It's 1 energy if you have yellow extra cards in your drop area or in energy, and when it plays, your opponent has to tap a card when they want to swing with a card that's not a Unison. So it's just really good. And other cards that kind of go with helping this get its auto off, its permanent off. 2 black Kamehamehas, where if it's your opponent's turn, you draw 1, then you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, switch them to rest mode. It gives it naturally 10,000 power, which is great. I don't ever really use this during my opponent's turn. I just use it during my turn. I don't ever use it during my turn. I use it during my opponent's turn because it just slows my opponent down and it makes me feel a bit better when trying to crack back. 2 reinforcement army. Like I said, when you awaken, you go down to 5, so these come in really handy right after turn 2. And they play a blocker. 2 Vegeta's Final Flash. It just turns stuff off, and it's just really good for yellow. As long as you have 1 mono yellow energy in active mode, Power of a Super Saiyan, which is really great because not only does it tap a card, you draw a card. And because we have a couple cards that like tapping down, we play 2 Poutines, which has the auto when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter skill, choose to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode. So it just helps control your opponent's field down. And when you set things to rest mode using cards, we got Bergamo for 2 energy. When 1 of your opponent's cards is switched to rest mode by 1 of your skills, play this card for your hand. And when this card, if your leader card is yellow, when this card is played, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and or energy, ignoring barrier, and switch them to rest mode. So it can initially just shut an opponent's turn down as long as you have the energy to make this happen. So it's just really good. For either late game pushes or even trying to stop a key thing from happening, we do play 1 Swift Retaliation Cooler. It's just really good on stopping your opponent from going counter. So for pressure, I do play 1 other Unison. That is the SS Trunks Altering the Future. It's just a really strong card for yellow. It's 3 energy, it's dual attack, 20,000 power. If I -3 on it, it clears a board, it doesn't get past barrier. And as long as so choose all your opponent's battle cards, switch them to rest mode, KO them, and you draw 1 card, which is really great. Or just +0 to, I think, pop a 4-drop. And the final set of cards are my Unisons, are my super combos. Play 2 of the Krillins moment before combat because I like cycling cards and just drawing stuff down. 1 skill still Chili because I like tapping stuff down as well. And last but not least, this is a girl. I mentioned earlier in the video, I played Piccolo and Son Gohan. It's a great super combo. It initially can be free if your opponent has 5 cards in rest mode. When this card is played or attacks, you draw 1 card and choose 1 of your opponent's Unison cards or battle cards, switch to rest mode. So it kind of locks things down. So if you do it during your opponent's turn, it's a way of getting out of an attack. It taps out another card, you draw a card. If you use it in your turn, it's just a great push for 30,000, and you're immediately afterwards playing a 40k battle card, which is fantastic because when this card, if your leader card is yellow, Son Gohan, Adolescence, or Piccolo card, at the end of the battle, which this card was used in a combo from your hand, play this card from your drop area. So it just works. Yellow, Son Gohan, Piccolo, it's fantastic. Absolutely love it. Alright, so at the beginning of the video I kind of talked about the Unison Dende. Like I said, I don't mind it, but it's just so fragile, and I don't... Every time I felt like I played it, if my opponent felt like they didn't need to worry about it, great. It works for my benefit. But the ability to allow me to just continue playing 1-drops for free once per turn, that way I'm using my energy to when I need to go into bigger chains, kind of becomes scary for some matchups. And so this becomes a big target. So cards I would switch out for the 4. Dendes, I don't actually have them on me, so I'm just kind of post them on the video. Well, I do have Mecha Frieza. I put a 4th Mecha Frieza in there. I do play one in the sideboard, but most likely would just be switched out when I want to take that card out instead. I was thinking of adding for more defensive play to kind of keep myself alive longer and help with draws as well, would be to play 2 Steadfast Allies, the Goku, which is a counterplay, draws a card in play, which is great, and it's a blocker, and then 1 Overwhelm card just to have that extra pressure when you need it. I just felt like for this particular build, I was going for the archetype theme, but in my actual build, like I said, I would take out the Dendes, Unisons, put in 1 Mecha Frieza, 2 Steadfast Allies, and 1 Overwhelm card, just for the extra pressure. So, hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any comments or critiques, let me know in the comments down below. I'm always open for anything, and I think that covers it. So, like always, read your cards, know your place, and fluff out.